The heyday, so to speak, of serial murder was in the 70s and 80s. We had far more serial killers back then than we do now. And evidence of that is the fact that when we see documentaries and movies about serial killers, they focus on Bundy and Gacy and the legacy killers of the past. There's really no high profile.
Okay, John, go ahead. What I tell you is what I know is fact.
I'm a power person. I enjoy power. Nobody else had the guts to pull off what I pulled off. I outsmarted you again.
Police today found 6 more bodies
under the home of suspected killer John Gacy.
Well, you can be walking down the street, and if Gacy lay eyes on you, you have now become his next victim.
I know society will never be able to forgive me. I know the families of the victims will never be able to forgive me for what I have done. Your Honor, it is over now.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome. It is our favorite time of the week here. That's right, Saturday night, our new time here, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to another episode of the Murder Show. That's right. And alongside of me, as always, looking damn handsome as always, too, we have the amazing criminology Chris.
Hello, everybody.
And you can see everybody now, too. Isn't this some fancy stuff? And alongside of criminology Chris, we have I Love My Brain, Classroom Jackie.
What's up?
That's right. We are experimenting with some new setups here. We got the live vid footage going for you there, as you young kids call it. Probably not, but I just felt like trying to fit in. So whatever. It's probably just video, but I don't care. Anyways, welcome in, everybody. Tonight, we have a doozy of one for you tonight, and it is going to be awesome. A lot of information on this. So if I were you, I would grab that, whether it's, beverage, alcohol, coffee, hot chocolate, whatever it is, grab the headphones, blanket, snuggle up in that chair or couch, and get ready for an awesome episode here tonight because we have a lot to cover. We are covering Mr. Randy Kraft, as you may have seen if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or the TikToky. He has a couple of nicknames. The Scorecard Killer or Scoreboard Killer, I've heard both for him. And the Highway Killer, too, as well. So we have a lot to cover, so we are going to go ahead and dive into this. We're going to jump right into Randy's early childhood. Of course, we always start out. Randy was born 1945. I don't know if we have the month or day on that, but it doesn't really matter.
March 19th.
March 19th, 1945 was when he was born. And there's a couple of intriguing things about this that we were talking about. Friday nights we get together and we have our kind of pre-prep for the show and stuff, go through everything. He was in a family of 4, the only son, 4th child. But what criminology Chris and I were talking about is a lot of these backgrounds with these guys, they come from a really messed up childhood.
Right.
And this one in particular, he had a normal childhood. He was a really good student.
Smart guy. Yeah.
Smart guy, accident prone, but that's no biggie. We all are.
Yeah, but involved in athletics, is religious.
Yeah. So it's different because you see this and it's like, well, wait a minute. What caused all this that we're going to end up, getting into here tonight? So Classroom Jackie, if you want to go ahead and start things off and get us going.
No problem. So, back when Kraft was born, his family moved to California. It was his father who moved there from Wyoming weeks after the United States entry into World War II. Upon finding employment as a production operative at Douglas Aircraft Company, He was joined by his wife and the 3 daughters, and then shortly followed by Randy. The Kraft family lived very modestly. Kraft's mother actually worked several different jobs to supplement her husband's assembly line salary. Kraft's mother initially found employment as a seamstress in a Westminster garment factory before later obtaining an employment as a cook in a local school.
We can take care of a whole family on an assembly line set.
Yeah, I would imagine back then you could. Today you couldn't at all.
No.
You could, barely take care of yourself.
You could maybe take care of yourself, your significant other, and 1 child on that salary. But anymore, and you're struggling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nonetheless, while she was working, she always found time for her children. In contrast, Kraft's father seldom attended any of the gatherings with them and was later described as being distant from his family. As a child, Kraft was doted on by his 3 older sisters and mother, although he was known to be exceptionally accident-prone, like you said. I mean, I'm clumsy, but this guy was worse than me. So
we don't have to get into that. How clumsy you could be.
I punched a door by accident.
She's not kidding.
With her face.
Yeah, it was a true story.
It was.
If we had pictures, we would post them. I think Classroom Jackie needs to carry some sort of GoPro attached to her head. That would be great.
Just for a week, show everybody what I look like.
I mean, I don't want to see, like, bedroom behind the doors shit. I don't need any of that. But
no, just how I go about my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs some kind of life-proof case.
Hey.
I'm here for you.
In 1948, the Kraft family moved from Long Beach to Midway City in neighboring Orange County. Their home was a small wood-frame Women's Army Corps dormitory on Beach Boulevard that Kraft's father renovated into a 3-bedroom house. The family became active in the Westminster First Presbyterian Church, with Kraft's mother rising to the chairman of the Deacons Committee. This ended up making them a very religious family growing up. In Midway City, Kraft attended Midway City Elementary School, where his mother was also a member of the PTA. His intelligence was noted by classmates and teachers, and by 1957, his intelligence was being judged enough to attend accelerated classes at 17th Street Junior High School. By adolescence, Kraft had taken a keen interest in politics, becoming a staunch Republican and aspiring to become a U.S. Senator. Shortly after his enrollment at Westminster High School, he and 2 friends founded the Westminster World Affairs Club. At the high school, Kraft was again regarded as a pleasant, bright student who regularly achieved A grades. He was also known to occasionally date girls, although some classmates and teachers later stated that they suspected he was always homosexual. So even back then, he was getting noted as being gay.
He must have carried himself a certain way for somebody to kind of try
How
to
do you
pick that out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at his pictures where he's younger and a teen, like, he's very well groomed, very sharply dressed, very decent looking.
But he's kind of like, as we had talked about it, he's like, what was that? Dahmer, where he was actually a good looking guy.
Yeah, normal
back
guy,
then.
right.
I mean, yeah.
But
yeah,
if you,
Sans the Aviators. Right.
Well, I think you're just jealous and upset still you can't get a pair of them. That's where that's going to.
well, if you look at the pictures in that time period, his mom was still working multiple jobs to support them. He wouldn't be able to afford that kind of living.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Kraft-
why he didn't own the Aviators. Sorry.
Kraft later stated that he had known from his high school days that he was gay. Although he initially kept his orientation a secret, on June 13th, 1963, he graduated 10th in his class of 390 students. So not just the top 10%, he was the top 10.
390, that's a big class. My class, when I graduated, I think was right around the same amount. Of course, I went to a small, high school, but I think I was like 350.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into what I was.
Well, we got to get into what Chris was. His was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think mine was
Well, thank you for the hearts who's ever sending the hearts. I didn't even know you could do that on here. Man, I tell you what, am I going to have to be like one of those TikTok-y people who's like, thank you for the hearts.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Mwah. Thank you for the kisses. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You need like you just sound recorded.
On June 13th, 1963, after graduating 10th in his class, he enrolled into Claremont Men's College in the fall in Claremont, California. He pursued a Bachelor's of Arts degree in economics. So big brainiac guy is going for this. Like, not impressive. No, I mean it's not impressive. Like, it is impressive that he's going for economics after growing up the way he did.
Your double negatives.
Yeah. Trying to screw with you.
Guys, they're going to end up going on to it. Just let them do it. It's already been happening for an hour.
Shortly after his enrollment at Claremont, Kraft enrolled in the Reserve Officers Training Corps and regularly attended demonstrations in support of the Vietnam War and the 1964 campaign rallies for the Republican presidential candidate Barry Goldwater. He later declared these actions were merely a simulation of his parents' political views and not his own. His second year in Claremont, he said he abandoned the last gasp of his conservative ideology. That same year, he entered his very first gay relationship. In 1964, Kraft began working as a bartender at a local cocktail lounge that catered to the gay clientele. He was also known to regularly travel Laguna Beach and Huntington Beach to randomly hook up with hustlers. By his senior year, Kraft had become a lackadaisical. I had just pronounced this word.
It's the alcohol.
Lackadaisical. How do you say that?
He's just enjoying watching you try to suffer.
Yeah, and I'm just enjoying the trip.
LACKASAGAIS.
Criminology does.
Thank you. Judith. Drinking, taking drugs, and regularly attending all-night gambling and poker sessions with other students. This did end up resulting in him failing to graduate his final year in June of 1967. He did finally end up graduating that February of 1968 with his bachelor's in economics. 4 months after graduating, he joined the Air Force and quickly rose through the ranks as Airman First Class and Supervisor Manager. That same year that Kraft became an Airman First Class, he came out to his family. In a letter he wrote to a friend, Kraft described his father as having flown into a rage, whereas he described his mother as being more understanding, if somewhat disapproving. Kraft's family ultimately accepted his sexuality, and he remained in close contact with his parents and siblings. Although his siblings did know, he began to distance himself from family after he had disclosed that he was gay.
Yeah, I would imagine that probably could be a tough pull with.
Yeah, when they find out about something like that. Because I don't think Dahmer's parents found out for a while, if I remember correctly.
And then you have to remember he was still in the Air Force at the time, too. So.
Yeah, and that was where the military thing came into play, yeah.
On July 26, 1969, Kraft announced his sexual orientation to his superiors. He was then granted a general discharge after only 13 months in the service. His dismissal was officially listed as being on medical grounds. In response, Kraft sought legal advice from an attorney to challenge the grounds regarding his discharge. The Air Force, however, refused to change the status of his discharge. Following that, he moved back into his parents' homes and attained work as a bartender. You have to remember, it was exceptionally illegal to be gay back then in the military.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about this last night. They didn't clear that for people until 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was not aware of that until we were talking about that last night, that if you were in the military, yeah, you couldn't be gay, which I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different road. Probably go down a rabbit hole.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's just, I guess you learn something new every day.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do trigger warning because we are going to start covering into some of the murders and assaults, and it can be graphic at some points.
Trigger warning.
Graphic stuff.
Queasy stomach alert, please.
Yeah, this before we get into this, the stuff you're going to hear about in here, if you don't know too much about Mr. Kraft here, is it's going to get wild. This guy did some brutally insane shit that you're going to be like, what? So yeah, trigger warning for sure. If you have any little ones around, I would tell them to leave the room now because, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
the
leave
fact
it
of
at
the
that.
matter is, I mean, you expect that you know the story about Dahmer. A lot of people do. This guy, I mean, some of the stuff we had to look in through thoroughly, and we'll explain a couple things and maybe why, guesses as to why he did what he did. But there were just some things that you could not, you can't, you're not going to pin them down.
No,
There's no understanding. So
I learned a lot
yeah,
researching this guy. Let's put it that way. I
had
learned
no
a
idea.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were questions that we had that we answered and we didn't want to know about.
So yeah, so long story short, I picked this guy, and I think we've kind of been doing this now, and we started it because Jackie, I think, picked Dahmer. We're each doing our own pick first of a serial killer that we want to cover. So, criminology, Chris will be
Again
next week, and I picked Randy Kraft because I had remember years back watching some, documentaries on him and stuff, and he had a crazy, it was something different. And little did I know how crazy it was until we got into it. So go ahead. You're all good.
Also, just want to shout out to David. Hi.
Who?
David.
Yeah, David. Going on, was it Dumpster Man or what? What was it?
Garbage Man.
Garbage Man. Trash can. Garbage Man. Dumpster guy. Yeah. Shout out to my good friend in there too, Bird309 Race. He's a good buddy of mine. A good TikToker. I met him on there, and he helped me out with getting my video stream going for the show. So, Bird, appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you being in here. Raptor Jesus 314. Hello. Not sure I know who you are, but that's all right.
That's my sister.
That's her sister. Okay, welcome into the show. Is that the favorite sister?
That's me. I'm the favorite daughter.
Oh, the favorite daughter, yeah.
Let's go another rabbit hole.
Yeah,
We'll
rabbit hole.
We'll explain these things later.
Yeah, so, all right, classroom Jackie.
Back to it. Now, this is his first known sexual assault. In March of 1970, Kraft encountered a 13-year-old Westminster youth named Joseph Alvin Francher at Huntington Beach. Francher explained to Kraft that he had run away from home that day. He was invited back to Kraft's apartment to hang out, promising that he could live with him and offering him sex with a woman he claimed to know. Francher agreed and accompanied Kraft to his Belmont Shore apartment, where he was drugged, beaten, and repeatedly sexually assaulted. Hours later, Fancher escaped from the apartment after Kraft left him there and went to work. A member of the public, alarmed by Fancher's drugged and disheveled condition, called an ambulance. Fancher was transported to the hospital where his stomach was pumped. There, he informed police that Kraft had given him drugs and beaten him. He did not disclose to either his parents or the police that Kraft had sexually assaulted him.
Yeah, that was crazy, that kid that was running away from home you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That was just, Kraft got lucky there because I don't...
It was only because he didn't report it because of shame and the fear that it comes from that. With that not having happened, and after an investigation of the apartment, and because he told the officers that he willingly took the pills, Kraft got away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's still wild though. And then you had stated too that he had told him that he was going to give him a place to stay, and then like a woman or something, right?
Yeah, he told him that he knew a woman that he could have sex with.
Okay. So of course that kid, at 13, adolescence going on. The hormones are pumping.
Yeah, you don't know any better.
And you're going to be like, all right, cool. I got somewhere to stay. I just ran away from home. And now this guy's sitting here telling me that I've got a way that I can have sex with this girl, you know? So honestly, back then, of course, you're going to be like, sure, I'll jump in. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If it was me back then, I'd probably jump in. But, you know, that's just me.
I don't know. I've always had like this stranger danger fear. So I don't think I would do that. Like even as a little kid.
Yeah, I'd at least want to see her first. I mean, before you made promises.
That's your concern.
Well,
yeah,
like Tim said,
not just a random dude inviting you back to his apartment for a place to live, and
you have a roof over your head. Yeah, obviously, but
and you just ran away from home, so you have nowhere to go, and this guy's offering you a roof over your head, like Chris said. Food too, I'm sure, was a part of it.
I guess it just has to do with something, the fact that I'm a female and you two are males, and obviously think with another head.
Got nothing else to lose.
We think with another head. Here goes, folks. We do apologize for our viewers. Criminology Chris and I think with another head. The one-eyed head. Anyways. Come on, you want to talk shit. Go ahead and continue on now.
Now, there was a brief period after he did that first assault where he enrolled in California State University in 1971. He found employment as a forklift driver in Huntington Beach 2 years after his military discharge. While he was at the university, he majored in education to further his career prospects. There, Kraft became acquainted with Jeffrey Paul Graves, a fellow teaching student from Minnesota 4 years younger than Kraft, with whom he began a relationship. He was with this guy for 4 years.
That's a while.
Mm-hmm.
Was that seller?
No, that was later on down the road after he starts actually killing people.
Okay.
We're about to touch into that in a minute. Now, between 1971 and 83, Kraft is believed to have killed 67 people. All of his suspected victims were males between the age of 14 and 30, the majority of who were in their late teens to mid-20s. Kraft was charged with and convicted of 16 of these homicides, all of which had occurred between 1972 and 83. Many of the victims were members of the United States Marine Corps, and most of their bodies were found to have high levels of both alcohol and tranquilizers, indicating that they had been unconscious when they were abused and killed. Obviously, with so many victims, we are not going to be able to cover every single one of them.
We would be here till midnight.
Right. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover those victims that really stood out, or where the violence against them took a turn and things changed.
Sounds good.
His first murder was on October 5th, 1971. Police found the nude body of a 30-year-old Long Beach resident named Wayne Joseph Duquette. And I'm really sorry if I butcher that last name.
I don't think his family's going to call in anytime soon, but
just in case, I apologize.
Yes.
Discarded close to the Ortega Highway. Duquette, a bartender at a gay bar named The Stable in nearby Sunset Beach, had last been seen alive on September 20th. Putrefaction had destroyed any signs of foul play on the body. The cause of death was listed as acute alcohol poisoning due to a high blood alcohol level. The first entry in Kraft's journal, referred to as his scorecard, reads stable, leading investigators to believe Duquette was Kraft's first murder victim.
And so the scorecard sheet begins.
Between 1972, December 24th, 1972, and November 1974, an additional 5 bodies had been discovered along major Southern California roadways. By 1975, on January 3rd, to be specific, Kraft abducted and murdered a 17-year-old high school student named John William LaRosse. The youth was last seen boarding a bus in Long Beach. His strangled body was found the following day. discarded at Sunset Beach with a foreign object protruding from his penis. Drag marks along the beach close to where his body was found suggested that two individuals had carried Lara's body into the water. 2 weeks after his murder on January 17th, the body of a 21-year-old named Craig Joniatis, I'm sorry if that's not how you say it, was found discarded in the parking lot of the Golden Sails Hotel near the Pacific Coast Highway and Loynes Drive in Long Beach. Joniatis had been strangled to death with a length of string, possibly a shoelace. This is where we're going to get into the first time he gets investigated for this.
This guy's already done a lot of crazy shit with the first victim. Mm-hmm. Foreign object. I mean,
yeah. It gets worse.
The first murder was in 1971, and then after.
So the first murder on October 5th, 1971, was the nude body of that 30-year-old Long Beach resident Joseph Kett.
Right.
And then he had the first body with dismemberment was June 3rd, 1975.
That was the drowning one, they thought?
Well,
where the head was decapitated or whatever?
Yeah, that one's a little bit further down in 75.
Oh, well, I shit the bed, folks.
All over the place.
That's okay. I'm the host. I can do it.
By January 1975, a total of 14 victims had been linked to the same killer. Their bodies having been found discarded across 4 separate counties over the previous 3 years. All the victims had been Caucasian males with similar physical characteristics. On January 24th, homicide investigators from several jurisdictions in Southern California convened in Orange County to discuss their progress in the hunt for the unknown killer. An FBI profile of the killer was read to investigators, describing the individual as a methodical, organized lust killer of above-average intelligence who exhibited an indifference to the interests and welfare of society.
So that goes back to what we were talking about in his childhood.
Right.
An intelligent person.
Yeah.
Very smart, and they're kind of characterizing him as that in the beginning.
Right. And they also talk about, the same thing as Dahmer, and we had chatted about it yesterday, that these guys target these individuals that are displaced. Or in this case, it was many of them happen to be military or people that have ran away or people that aren't going to just, it's not going to be seen as this person's not going to be detected quickly because they're already missing from home. They're not going home to somebody. They're not. They're just not tied to anything local.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. These people are not very easy to trace.
But you think too, like maybe he was a bigger guy, I guess. Military background, so maybe he could fight. But you target military people a lot. Wouldn't you worry about them like trying to kick your ass, when you're trying to get them?
Well, you would think.
I mean,
but certainly, like in this case, they went down the road. He obviously was using a lot of Valium.
Yeah.
He was dropping that into people's drinks and things. I think the vast majority of these things had some sort of alcohol, related to something.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
He was typically drunk when he did this stuff, on top of most people that he did it to. They typically were finding alcohol and some sort of sedative in their body, whether it had been Valium.
It was a lot of Valium.
Yeah, it was a lot of Valium. They mentioned that multiple times throughout his.
Could you get easy access to that back then?
He could, because he said that he had a job where he worked night shift and he needed to get used to that schedule and sleep, so he would get the Valium for that.
How do you like to be that doctor that prescribed all that?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine the amount of backlash.
Quit and run away.
I mean, seriously, I'd feel terrible. You find out, oh, hey, this is the guy I've been giving all those pills to.
All the Valium, too.
Yeah.
I'd shred my license up and be like, I was never, pharmacist. or a doctor or whatever, you know. I couldn't even, because you probably can't get that easy now. I don't even know if you can still get
It's a controlled
Valium
substance now.
Yeah, you can still get it. I think they still prescribe it for people that are afraid to go to the dentist and kind of that kind of thing. But
What are you getting at there, criminologist? What are you getting at?
We don't need to worry about this.
some reason,
You stop.
This is a classroom Jackie moment that we're going to stop. So, but yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
well, going back to like the dismemberment and things like that, and the first murder where they, obviously his modus operandi changed, his way of killing, or the what he left. Like you had mentioned, oftentimes they find cigarette lighter burns from a car.
Yeah, on their penises and balls, yeah.
And across the chest, face, and torso as well.
Yeah, and then on top of that, a commonly occurring thing that was found was that he was actually stuffing socks into the anuses of his victim.
That was one of those things. Like they found an object sticking out of the ass. Was those?
So
they also found tissues residue above some of the victims' noses.
Yeah. So now that we've opened up this can here,
This was one of those questions we had last night.
yes, thank you.
Why socks?
Why is this happening?
So we broke this down, and this is going to get graphic. We do apologize, but this is what we do on this. This is what we do on this show to try to figure out and to try to get into their minds on why they do certain things. So when we heard he was stuffing socks, which I'm assuming maybe Dickies work boot socks, I don't know,
Cotton, full cotton.
yeah, into these guys' assholes, we couldn't figure this out, and at first, Classroom Jackie thought maybe he's using them as a condom.
But imagine the shaking
or
would be
have
so
some
bad.
sort of sexual gratification, some pleasure derived from it, or something like that, which is what we thought initially.
But after looking into it, we discovered it was actually a part of purging the body. So, meaning for people and fans that don't know what that is, when when somebody passes, after a little bit of time, the body will release all of the fluids inside, whether it's, feces or pee or, whatever.
It's really, really, really gross.
Yeah, Classroom Jackie has seen it and experienced it before, and I've seen it and experienced it too. And I don't know if Chris has too. Yeah, Criminology Chris. So what he would do as he's transporting these bodies to the disposal location, he would then shove the socks into the butthole and tissues into the nostrils to try to prevent fluids coming out. In other words, making a mess in his vehicle, I guess, leaving traces.
So there'd be liquefaction.
Yeah.
It'd be going on. The decomposition kind of goes down the road. He was trying to keep it clean.
Now, he would remove some of the tissues after he moved his victims. So there's no DNA left behind on the tissues.
Yeah, and that's how they found the, residue or whatever, yeah. But he left the sock in,
Which was all the victim, for what it's worth, it was a victim sock too. It wasn't like...
Right, so it wouldn't have his DNA on it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, I got a hole in this sock I wore today. I might as well shove it in this guy's ass,
I do have a question. Like, if that was happening now...
Oh, no.
Do you think, and this is going to sound really gross, they would take that sock out and try and get any DNA from, see if there was a sexual assault now?
Well, hey, that's, people have some dirty jobs,
Yeah.
But unfortunately...
Mike Rose takes care of them, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. I don't think Mike Rose ever messed with...
I think he wants to do that.
Messed with butt socks, but I think... But
we apologize, folks.
Sorry, guys.
We laugh, and we're a little messed up. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's people who do that, and you got to do that. I mean, you can't pass anything by.
Congratulations, David. He got first place in the chili cook-off.
Oh, the man!
Congratulations, David, or garbage can or whatever. I'll never
Garbage
remember.
man.
Garbage man. I'm sorry, dude.
I'm gonna make him give you an autograph picture now.
That's fine. I want an autograph picture for the studio here. So congratulations, you have been merged into the sock butthole talk with your chilies. So thank you for that. Continue on. Back to the socks.
I'm good. Thank you.
He is flabbergasted over here.
Oh,
It's gonna seem like we skipped over some information about this.
dark road.
Yeah.
I mean, but we once again, if we were to try to touch on every individual instance or thing throughout this guy's life, we could talk about it.
Exactly. Now, one of the things about the victims that I'm going to touch on, because every single one of them had this, was there is bite marks all over the bodies, about 7 of them each time.
He's actually removing skin.
He's biting them and leaving his bite mark. I don't know, like there's not skin being removed, but he is biting down and leaving an impression that's appearing.
Jeez.
So he's got to be biting pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna seem like we're skipping over some of these, but we're not. Like we said, we can't cover every single one of the victims, but we are going to jump to the murder of Keith Prop. I'm so sorry. This is a hard last name. So I'm just going to call him Keith C. Is that
There
okay?
you go. That's the answer.
On the evening of March 29th, 1975, Kraft lured 2 youths, Keith C. and Kent May, from a Long Beach parking lot into his Ford Mustang. They were both given beer and Valium as Kraft drove in a random, aimless manner around the Belmont shore in Seal Beach. May later recalled feeling catatonic as a result of the Valium and alcohol he ingested before he passed out. In the parking lot where Keith C. and May were last seen, 2 friends of the youths observed a distinctive black and white Mustang pull in and stop before the driver leaned across, opened the door, and pushed the unconscious but otherwise unharmed May out of the pavement. The driver then sped away from the scene, and as he did so, the friends noted that Keith C. slumped against the unknown driver's shoulder.
Bird brings up a good point up there of the biting. Dominance tactic of biting could be why he was doing that.
It very well could be.
That's a good point there.
Very well.
Agent 7771, welcome in, and your favorite tarnished or whatever. Yeah, it's very kinky. Yeah, I got nothing.
I mean, I know there's some people into that stuff, but this is not what we're talking about it at all.
Like a hickey, okay.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Keith C. was discovered on May 8th, but it was just his skull on the jetty close to the Long Beach Marina. The remainder of his body was found 6 months later. After hearing the news, the 2 friends of Keith C. and May, who suspected that the murder was a patron of a Belmont Shore gay bar, searched their neighborhood for the distinctive Mustang. They found the car less than a mile away from their home and wrote down the license plate number and gave the information to the police. That vehicle was registered to Randy Kraft.
Oh, damn.
There's so many times where
This guy just slipped through.
he could have been caught.
Yeah, he slipped through the cracks a lot.
This is the case where he was in there, they knew he did it, but he got away.
Yeah.
Long Beach police questioned Kraft about Keith C. abduction and murder on May 19th of 1975. Initially, he denied having ever met either him or May, and the police, skeptical of his denial, summoned him to the police station for further questioning. Kraft admitted that on or about March 29th, he encountered them both in the Long Beach parking lot in question and persuaded them to drink alcohol and consume Valium with him as he drove around. He claimed to have returned May to the parking lot and then to have driven with Keith C. to a side road close to the El Toro off-ramp, where his car subsequently became embedded upon an embankment. He claimed to have walked alone to a gas station to call for a tow truck while Keith C. remained with the car. Upon returning to the vehicle, Kraft claimed that Keith C. had disappeared. Although Kraft's roommate confirmed that Kraft had phoned him on the date of Keith C.'s disappearance, claiming that his vehicle was stuck, detectives remained unconvinced by Kraft's versions of events. The following week, 2 detectives attempted to file homicide charges against Kraft. However, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office declined, citing that the coroner's conclusion from his autopsy of the remains thus far found, consisting only of Keith C.'s skull, that the youth had died of an accidental drowning. He is missing his head and his body. How is it an accidental drowning?
When you, I'm sure, Tim, you probably, maybe you ran into this, I don't know, but when you die and you die in water, I mean, the decomposition is rapid.
Yeah, it's fast.
I mean, not only is it rapid, but like just being outside on a hot day in a field or a woods or something like that, you got animals, in this case, fish, or knows what else is,
sharks too, the ocean,
to break down. Right. Exactly.
Except it is his head that is found in the jetty. You cannot tell if there is actually accidental drowning, how his actual cause of death was. There would be like water obviously in his nose from being in the jetty, but wouldn't there be trauma if he was drowned?
Well, they found a skull. They didn't find his head.
Yeah.
Isn't your skull your head?
Yeah, but it didn't have skin attached to it. They didn't look up his nose. There's holes.
Wait. Then how did they come to the conclusion it was an accidental drowning? If his head was found not that long after he was abducted, which was in March that he was abducted, his skull was found in the 8th, and then 6 months later his body. How would you know that it was a drowning if it was just his skull?
How do you know it was?
Well, Bird states, and it's true, unless it's in a high ship traffic. What if you're in a high ship traffic spot? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It could have, if the body drowned, the ship could have hit the body and dismembered the skull or the head. I mean,
a number of things that could have led to breaking down the body or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, if the police don't know how you died and they find your skull in the water, the first thing that is gonna, they can't prove that there was like foul play there. They can't prove that something bad happened. And if there was a knife-shaped hole in his head, or there's like the sword and the stone, and there was Excalibur sticking out of his forehead, then you'd probably call it a homicide. But in this case, there wasn't anything like that. So the skull's intact.
Yeah, you literally just found a skull in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to think? You're not going to think.
Yeah, you find a dead fish float up on the shore on the beach. Are you going to be like, shit, somebody murdered that?
Right. And I did not
murder.
I didn't think about the high ship area, but I will say, out of some of the cases that we've covered so far, this is one of those rulings of how the victim died that I really do not like. Like, I wish we could find out what actually happened to him. Like, if it was a drowning, if he strangled him, what it was.
True, and we'll never know. I mean,
we could know. He is still alive, but he's not going to tell us.
Yeah,
this.
I'll reach out. I'll see if I can get a hold of him.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get out there and be like, hey, can I talk to, Kraft? I want to ask him a question about the skull.
I mean, he is still in San Quentin and very much alive.
But he's 80, and he's probably getting his ass wiped.
And he probably has no one to
diapers.
talk to.
No offense if anybody's wearing diapers in the fans, but
probably not wearing socks.
No.
Please continue on.
No. He was confirmed to have given his roommate a call after that accidental drowning. Perhaps because he was questioned as a suspect in that murder, and because of additional turmoil going on in his personal life in the summer of 1975. Kraft is not known to have killed again until December 31st, so he did take a break from murdering.
Yeah, he had that hiatus there. That's right. Yeah.
And on December 31st, he abducted 22-year-old Mark Paul in San Juan Capistrano. In this instance, later described by prosecutors as the worst of all of Kraft's known murders, Paul was driven to a remote canyon where he was bound to a tree. The autopsy report listed the cause of death as asphyxiation caused by leaves and earth found lodged deep in Hall's trachea. The autopsy also revealed that Hall had been sodomized and emasculated, with his severed genitals inserted into his ass. And additionally, his chest, scrotum, nose, and cheeks had been burned with an automobile cigarette lighter, which was also used to destroy his eyes. The autopsy report also listed numerous incisions on Hall's legs, which had been inflicted with a broken bottle. Forensic experts were able to determine that Hall had been alive throughout much of the ordeal.
So, I mean, this is crazy. So, can you imagine two things? One, having your eyeballs burned with a cigarette lighter.
Absolutely not.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine.
I've accidentally burned my finger, and that is not fun.
The guy just got sicker.
I mean, and then
aggressive.
you said he cut the genitals off and shoved them in the guy's ass.
He did. He cut him off.
What?
Sodomized him, emasculated him, and then took the genitals and shoved them up his ass.
The store must have not had a sale on tube socks that week, and he had to compromise, I guess. That's crazy.
Good for wearing sandals, guy. Oh, jeez.
Didn't.
Yeah, I mean, but it's really, like you said, from the beginning.
That's crazy.
He started off with like a sexual assault, and he killed the guy. Then he brutally killed the guy and had some sort of sexual intent. And then there was started with a dismemberment, and then we started with mutilation, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And now he's like basically putting these guys on display for whoever might come and actually find these bodies.
Yeah, he is like stepping it up with the fucked upness. I want to make that up every time,
So I don't want to cover some of these, but in a couple of the victims, and this is absolutely awful, he inserted ballpoint pens into their penises.
Yeah, that I remember we were talking about that last night. That is, any guys out there, that is got to be some brutal, nasty pain. I can't even imagine having a ballpoint pen.
Yeah, I really like talking about it.
But you also got to wonder too, though, were they on Valium then and all drunk and stuff? I mean, I'm not saying like they're still going to feel it, but
I almost hope so for
their sake. Yeah. So they're not really fully coherent. I almost hope that they kind of were, because if he did that right in the beginning, or were they dead when he did that too, so they didn't feel nothing? I don't know. We won't know.
Yeah.
But
so, also, just as a little side note, there was 2 freeway killers at this time. So bodies with different victims, different styles in the same area. And we're gonna touch this in just a second.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that last night too. But he had a different way of how he left the victims. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
During the time after that murder, where he had the investigation and then didn't kill somebody again until December, he was in a relationship in 1976 with a 19-year-old apprentice baker named Jeff Seelig. This was that guy that you mentioned. He was with this guy for a really long time. It was said to be, what was it, like 10 years that he was with? 7 or 10?
It was long.
Wow.
Yeah. We did some research on it. They were together for a while. And if we're wrong, we're really sorry about that.
And I wonder too if probably didn't, but that guy, his boyfriend, probably didn't know any of this was going on.
Mm-mm.
I don't know, or maybe he did.
Well, it's possible.
Kind of makes me wonder.
Yeah, and kept to himself. I mean,
so neither of these guys wanted to be monogamous. So he was going out there and doing what he wanted with whoever, but they had both been in that relationship as being permanent without monogamy.
Okay. Wow.
Seelig later told investigators that he and Kraft regularly picked up and propositioned hitchhikers who, if willing, would accompany them to their apartment for a threesome. However, Selig was adamant that Kraft had never been violent towards him and had never seen him display any violent tendencies. Kraft's relationship with Selig is believed to be a contributory factor in the sudden lull in his murders that he was known to have committed. He is not known to have killed again until December 10, 1976. The body of victim, 19-year-old Paul Joseph Fuches, has never been found. Nonetheless, Fuchs' name is clearly listed upon Kraft's scorecard, and he was last seen outside a Long Beach gay area bar named Ripples, which Kraft is known to have been frequenting to.
Yeah, and he also frequented the saddle, wasn't it?
The stable.
Or stable, yeah, stable.
It makes you think of like horses.
Yeah,
like a barn.
It's not. Yeah, I'm thinking of horses.
I know.
Anyways, thinking of Clydesdales, I guess. I don't know. The stallion. Come see the stallion over at the stable. No.
Following that December 1976 murder, Kraft was not known to have killed again for 16 months. On January 3, 1978, homicide investigators again convened to discuss progress concerning the manhunt for the still unidentified killer. By this time, investigators knew there was more than one murderer at large. That previous July, the police had arrested Patrick Kearney, who subsequently confessed to the murder of 28 boys and young men, many of whom he had dissected and discarded in trash bags beside freeways in Southern California. Although Kraft had dismembered some of his victims, he never killed his victims by shooting them in the temple as Kearney had. Additionally, Kearney had never tortured any of his victims. His modus, what was that word? Operandi? Operandi.
Sounds right.
Differed significantly from Kraft's. And investigators were certain that the unrelated killer was still at large. On April 16, 1978, Kraft abducted an 18-year-old Marine named Scott Michael Hughes. Hughes was piled with Valium before Kraft slit open his scrotum and removed one of his testicles, then strangled him to death with a ligature before discarding his fully clothed body, missing only his shoelaces. He discarded the body along a freeway on-ramp in Anaheim. 2 months later, on June 11th, the body of 23-year-old Roland Gerard Young was found near a San Diego freeway. Young had been emasculated before being stabbed to death. Abrasions to his body indicated that he had been pushed from a vehicle traveling at high speed. 8 days later, the body of a 20-year-old Marine named Richard Allen Keith was found discarded beside Moulton Parkway. He had last been seen alive by his girlfriend in the city of Carson. Welts on Keith's wrist indicated that he had been found before he was strangled with a ligature. Froth in his throat indicated that he was also drowning as a result of clorazepam and alcohol he had consumed at the time of the strangulation. Clorazepam. It's another thing. Now we're gonna go to that last murder, the one that's leading it. Again, there are tons of suspects and different states where this happened.
This could go down a long road. This guy, and the crazy thing is those breaks that he had. Where we can't find any information on it, or somebody says, hey, there was a gap in the time period in which this guy was killing people. Nobody knows that for sure. I mean, just because he didn't come out and say, oh yeah, no, I was busy doing those things and stuff, in that 16-month period or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he very well could have been. The fact of the matter is that unfortunately, everybody and everything, they couldn't just tie everything to this guy, and even if they could, the time period is hazy anyway.
And he's been accused of 67 of these murders, and only 16 have been identified.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
With the most recent as of 2024.
Actually stuck to him, so I mean, there's...
Which, I wonder, so he was convicted of 16 of them, but I wonder how they're accusing him of up to 67 without any evidence or proof or anything.
Probably
Well,
the motive in the area.
I don't think it's legitimate. Like, this wasn't brought to court. Like, the 60 were not brought to court.
No.
Right? So he was actually prosecuted for what? Total of what?
16.
16. So, I mean, just people are under the assumption of, or law enforcement is under the assumption of, or somebody is under the assumption of, the fact that this guy had many more victims than he was prosecuted.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Because
So-
I was thinking about that.
So
last
chances
night.
are, I have a hard time believing that a guy like this, once he gets going, I have a hard time believing he's taking risks.
Yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say a few minutes ago when you mentioned that, I'm willing to put money on it that he was not taking a break during that time.
Yeah, there's, like I said, there is so many different victims that we could cover, but we just don't have that time.
But we're doing good right now, though. We're under an hour. We are kicking arse right now.
Yeah. Now, we're going to move on to that final murder and arrest. Do you want to know how he was caught?
Yeah, I
that?
do. Of course. No, I want to just end it.
Tell
I want to just end it right now, and that's it.
Cliffhanger.
Oh my, yeah. Cliffhanger. Come back in a month.
At 1:10 a.m. Oh my goodness.
I love my brain.
It's malfunctioning right now. At 1:10 a.m. on May 14th, 1983, two California Highway Patrol officers observed a Toyota Celica driving erratically on Interstate 5 in the Oregon County community of Mission
Viejo.
Viejo.
Observing the vehicle perform an illegal lane change, the officers suspected that the motorist was driving under the influence. They're going to come to find out they are exceptionally wrong, and he was trying to cut off a penis
While he was driving.
Yeah.
while he was driving.
Couldn't wait and just pull over and put the hazards on.
No,
Yeah, no hazards. No, he can't just pull into a McDonald's parking lot or something like that.
Thank God he didn't have a
It's
stick
just,
shift.
Oh shit!
So he was signaled to stop, and when the officers finally got him to stop, the driver slowly exited the vehicle, discarding the contents of a beer bottle onto the pavement as he did so. Officer Michael Sterling met him, and Randy Kraft identified himself at the front of his patrol car and observed that his jeans were unbuttoned. Sterling had Kraft perform a field sobriety test, which he failed. He was then arrested for driving while intoxicated. Sterling's partner walked over to that Toyota Celica and observed a young man slumped with his eyes closed on the vehicle's passenger seat, partially covered by a jacket, with several empty Moosehead beer bottles and an open prescription of lorazepam tablets. Howard attempted to wake the man, receiving no response. After he moved him and checked his body temperature, he realized it was low and had no pulse. He noted that the man was dead with a ligature mark visible around his neck. Lifting the jacket from that victim's lap, he noted the jeans were undone and were open to expose the genitalia, where the hands were bound with a shoelace, and there was evidence of him cutting off the penis.
Jeez. I couldn't even imagine that. Yeah, that's nuts. Driving down the road trying to cut off a penis.
Yeah, it's
And this is after the guy's dead. I'm assuming.
Mhm.
I mean, unless he bled out and died, but I'm assuming he's already dead. So it just, I'm trying to
Understand.
I'm trying to understand, and maybe it has to do with dominance thing, like Bird stated a little while ago. What the deal is with cutting the balls and the dick off and doing all this and shoving the ballpoint pens in the pee holes and stuff like.
Well, in addition to, I think, wanting to just, emasculate them. I think somebody along the line or reading, someone supposed that potentially he was angry at these people, as if he almost sort of blamed them for why he is the way he is, or is angry because of his sexual preference, or that he's not like everybody else, so he feels he has to basically destroy these people in response to, like they forced him into it.
The
You
only
know?
thing other than like the age frame is they were mostly all Marines. So I wonder if he wanted to be Marine and failed and figured this was a way to
Get
close
back
to
at them.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a vengeful type of thing.
Yeah,
where
because he was kicked out.
Yeah, he was blaming them for being who they are, and then he was angry at the Marines. He was angry at males in general. Who knows?
Which, and I don't think you had mentioned it yet, Jackie, was they had stated that they never saw this guy sleeping.
Exactly.
They never saw him close his eyes. I guess all night long he would drive around, and he was
And
always on the prowl for victims, and they
it,
said they never saw him sleeping.
it was the same when he was in college. None of his roommates or dorm mates or classmates ever saw him asleep. He was always
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, he was always awake, which...
Could
How
there
are
be
you-
something wrong with his brain to make him never sleep
Or maybe he was sleeping during the daytime.
with
I
his
mean,
eyes open?
Yeah, I don't know criminology, Chris. What do you think? I mean...
can't pay attention to him all the time.
Well,
I mean,
true.
You know,
Maybe he was like, it kind of treated it like a third shifter. Well, you did state that he worked a third shift job at first, right?
Well, he stated that, but there's no proven fact that he did work third shift other than being a bartender.
yeah, and insomnia can do some wacky things to you in
Yeah.
the late stages too. I mean, who
Yeah,
knows?
I know people. I work with somebody that will have bouts where they don't sleep for like 3 or 4 days straight,
Right.
which I couldn't do that. But yeah, the fact that he was always on the prowl, looking all night long is just scary.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that this guy was, doing that all the time. And then when he was on business trips, yeah, as we had stated before, he was doing killings there too as well, so
Yeah, this guy traveled he traveled to Oregon, he traveled to Michigan.
yeah. Yeah.
He
Now,
bounced around. There were victims found in those locations as well.
yeah, the Grand Rapids is where the cousins were found. He had picked those up too as well. And then I continue along here a little bit. Classroom Jackie had to leave for just a minute. Kind of heading into the trial, I believe, is where we are at now. One thing that really caught my mind with the trial is that they said it was one of the most expensive trials. I forget what the total cost was.
Yeah, wasn't it like $10 million?
$10 million.
And it took 16 months or something
It took
like that, or
13 months.
Yeah.
And it took the jury to deliberate 11 days.
Yeah.
Which is insane because you have all this evidence thrown out in front of you. They had the scorecard in the 3-ring, binder he kept in the trunk of his car. All of these belongings because he had kept like a souvenir from every victim, if you remember, in his house of everybody, shoes, glasses, socks, all kinds of stuff. All this evidence, and it still, the jury did a thorough job. Kudos to them. 11 days of freaking deliberation.
Yeah.
That's nuts. $10 million for a trial in 13 months.
And it was probably pretty obvious at that point that there were items in his possession at his home that did not specifically belong to him, and they could at least make a determination that they weren't his, but they didn't belong to one of the victims that he was prosecuted for. So, I mean, like right there, you already have probably a laundry list of who the hell did this go to?
Well, yeah.
Whose was this?
I think the only thing that really probably drug the trial out was that DNA. They really didn't have any way of doing it back then. Now, if it was today, shit, that trial would have been done in a week, maybe, and they would have been deliberating for about 30 minutes, and they all would have come to a, vote of, unanimously, but yeah, the fact that it was 13 months trial and 11 days deliberation is just fucking nuts.
It'd be hell to put somebody through. I mean, honestly.
Oh my gosh, the victims' families and stuff.
They interviewed 700 witnesses.
Oh,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Kudos to the detectives and the FBI and all them, because I couldn't sit in a room and interview for that long.
They gathered more than 250 physical pieces of evidence.
Well, and with that many victims in that large of an area, and the fact that he traveled, the number of people that this affected.
It's insane, But yeah, Bird, you bring a good point there. Yeah,
So
keep a trophy of every victim is what he was doing.
he not only did he do that, but there's a reason he's called the scorecard killer too. He had a list with over 61 neatly printed terms and phrases found in the trunk of his car. Each one of them appears innocuous, but each is believed to refer to a specific murder victim or double murder that he did. For example, reading EDM refers to the initials of victim Edward Daniel Moore, whereas Vincem refers to the victim Vincent Mestesas, whose the only part of his body was found was his hands.
Wow.
So I guess that answers my question I had a little bit ago. Of the how did they come up with that there could have been like 67 victims?
Because of that list.
Because of the list,
Yeah.
I guess, is what they were
Yeah, the
assuming
list,
and going off of.
the list of the trophies that didn't belong to anybody.
Yeah.
There's also a minimum of 4 double murders on this list.
4 double
4.
murders?
There's GR2, victims Dennis Alt and Christopher Shoborn, last seen in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah, the cousins.
2-in-1 Beach, victims Jeffrey Nelson and Roger Duvall. 2-in-1 Hitch, and 2-in-1 MV to PL. Neither entry of which have been linked to any double murder or disappearance, but they were both at the same time.
Yeah.
That's just wild.
And you're never going to figure out who all these people are, because once again, some of these people were in the military. They were displaced. They weren't around their families. They were on the other side of the United States. They vanished. How do you handle something like that when one of your loved ones is vacationing somewhere, or or just not at home? You file a report in Tennessee that your loved one vanished. Well, that's kind of where it stops.
A lot of his victims were runaways or just travelers,
right?
As
And
well,
there you
like
go.
hitchhikers.
Right. Yeah. So, like the Texas killing fields, similar to Dahmer, like, this guy was also taking the lives of people that didn't have an eye on them.
Right, except one of them had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, he could have been bi.
Right. No.
And what?
We talk about these victims. There's been an update on one of the victims being identified recently.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. It was in 23, right?
There was one identified in 23 of the. So this one was identified recently in May 10th of 25, from 45 years ago. Larry Eugene Parks was 30 years old when he was found dead along Interstate 5, July 18th, 1980, in Oregon. He was known as a John Doe from then. Forensics Genealogy in 2014 actually identified him, and he was released just recently in May.
Wow. So, I mean, they still, they could still end up finding more.
Yeah.
Coming up with more. I mean, you're not going to have much of a remains now, bones,
Right.
skeleton.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the one in 23. That was an Iowa teen who was believed to have been one of Kraft's earliest victims that was also identified. But the name was not released because he is a teenager and may have been under 16. Or
Yeah.
family
Wow.
might not be alive anymore.
I mean, ideally, it gives some families some closure. I mean, but what closure are you going to get from finding out that loved one is dead? But at the same time, at the end of the day, I mean, the punishment, it's not like this guy's going to go to jail more.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He's in
already
there for life
So,
prison.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
He's
he was
not going
sentenced to
anywhere.
death, I believe, right? Is what he's got. Death penalty.
I think so. He was his trial was in 1988 with 160 actual witnesses testifying and over 1,000 exhibits for evidence.
My question is, 27 years, why is this guy dead yet?
That's what
I'm looking into real
That's
fast.
what's crazy to me, and that's what happens with a lot of these guys. Is It's like they're sitting on our tax dollars.
Yeah, we're feeding these guys, keeping them alive when they're supposed to. Just
Yeah,
firing squad, man.
yeah.
Just take them out back.
That's what I'm saying. Everything that this guy did, I just feel like, why is he still sitting in there on death row since
On
88, you said?
1989, in August, he was rendered the verdict of death. 3 months later, on November 29th, Judge McCartan formally sentenced Kraft to death. He was detained on death row at San Quentin Rehabilitation Center. He did appeal his sentence, although his conviction and sentencings were upheld by the Supreme Court in 2000. As of 25, he still remains incarcerated at the California Institute for Men. He continues to deny responsibility for any of the homicides he is either convicted or is suspected of. There's also the chance of an accomplice.
Wow. So it just keeps going.
Right.
You know?
So that might be why he's not dead, is because they want answers. They want to know why, who else you did, and who else can we solve.
But from what I remember, when they were investigating him and trying to talk to him, they said he would just sit there and not say a word. He wouldn't say nothing. So he's probably still not speaking.
I don't know. But if you look at his mugshot from 2007, he does not look like that kind of man that would get in trouble for this.
You don't think so? Because I think that mugshot's kind of creepy. I don't know. What do you think, Chris? I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird.
Well, you see creepy people every day. I mean,
well,
we're just a target. I mean, and there are a few people.
But
who knows?
I don't know. That guy just doesn't look normal to me. Maybe it's me. I got to bring this up now and look at this again on my screen. Oh wait, you're looking at it totally.
But that's it. I mean, you can't just.
He looks like Mr. Ron Jeremy with that porno stash.
I don't know. This picture I'm seeing right now is from June 12th of 2007. So not almost 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. See, I'm looking at the 1983 mugshot of him.
The 83 one, yeah, that is really creepy.
That screams pervert. That screams, I want a sock in your ass. Right there is what that screams. 1983.
He looks
Tell me
like
that doesn't scream sock in the ass.
It's a little bit different.
He looks like Neil Patrick Harris if Neil Patrick Harris tried to play a villain.
Well,
Neil Patrick. You and Neil. I swear.
I'm sorry.
You two better get a room, you and Neil. Chris, you've got competition now with Neil Patrick Harris. Oh, shit. Now, Classroom Jackie's shaking her head at me. That means it's my time to fucking shut my mouth. So, yeah, anything else on this that we got to cover? I know we hit you guys with a lot, but thank you, too, for all the, comments. It's great you guys are interacting in the chat and stuff. But, yeah, this is some crazy stuff here. And what this guy, I mean, for those of you that may be new in here, every episode we always try to vote on a scale of 1 to 10, the fucked up scale with every killer. I am definitely voting this guy a 10. I mean, just the amount of rapes and killings that he did. Don't shake your head at me.
I'm not shaking my head at you.
Oh, I can see you on the camera.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part is that you don't want to rate them all at 10. But yeah, I gotta be honest. I agree with you. I agree with the Bird 309. I just, and I can't. I don't care that we've covered Dahmer and Gein and this guy, and I'll rate them all at 10. It's so disgusting. It's so unusual. And so inhumane that I don't see how you could do it any other way.
This is out of the norm. I mean, I know killing to begin with is not, normal, but this is out of the norm by far with what he was doing to these poor victims, their families. I can't even imagine the suffering they have gone throughout the years. The ones that are still here too, but just the amount of shit he did is just.
And I have to agree with both of you on that rating of 10. He didn't have a traumatic childhood. He had a very normal religious upbringing. He went into the military, was extremely smart, extremely brilliant. The only downside that I saw is he's gay. Back then, that was abnormal and not okay.
Frowned upon.
Maybe this is one of the reasons why he acted out and why he did the murders was because he's gay.
Just because
and was in the military.
Have issues with sexual preference. I mean, people have been battling that since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And people aren't going out and killing tens and 20, 30, 40, 50 people. I mean, it's absolutely.
But it's more acceptable to be gay now than it was back then.
In my mind, I mean, a switch had to have flipped. I mean, I don't know about mental disorders. I'm not a doctor. Schizophrenia doesn't kick in until you're in your, late teens, early 20s. I mean, maybe there's something else out there, and maybe there still is something out there that we haven't figured out yet that just clicks, in some of these people.
I agree with.
I don't think that there was an environmental factor here at play, whether the guy was gay, straight, tall, short, his race, whatever. I don't think any of that had a lot to do with it. I think something was wrong.
I have to agree with Bird. I think something happened in the military.
Same.
That's what I think. And I was going to say that, a minute ago.
Very possible, because he seemed like he was pissed at the Marines.
Maybe a Marine did something to him.
Yes.
Maybe a Marine assaulted him. Maybe something. Who knows? Like, he's not going to answer it for us. He's not going to answer it for anybody. But maybe Bird's right, and maybe, like you said, it was the Marines. Something to do with that, and he thought this was payback.
Yeah.
Yeah, something happened that we'll never know unless I can, for some, miracle.
I don't know. I know a lot of people message Chris Watts and send them letters, and he responds back. We could try and see if this guy will respond back.
I'm good. I don't want his damn letter.
He's not getting my address, Tim. That's all up to you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, gee. No, I'm good. Hey guys, number one. Anyways, yeah.
He hates your Wayne too.
Love you, but no. So all three of us are in agreement 10. Bird even gave us a 10 up there too. Yeah, I definitely have to agree. 10 out of 10 for the fucked up scale for sure. But thank you guys for another wonderful Saturday joining us here. Murder show. We do appreciate it. If you haven't yet already, please do like, follow, and share. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course our YouTube channel here. Subscribe to it. Once you are subscribed to it, you will get a little ding on your phone notification right before we go live every Saturday evening, and we have moved it from 7 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. because, let's face it, we ain't on time. So anyways, we do appreciate everybody listening in, and we did just find out this last week that we do have some listeners over in the UK now. Bird, you have a good night too, and take care, buddy.
See you, Bird.
Bye, Bird. Have a good night.
So we do have listeners over in the UK now, so we are international, which to me is really cool.
Also, didn't we finalize the designs for our merch this week too?
Yes. Classroom Jackie's finalized the designs for the merch this week, so we are working on getting that out. We're not going to give you a day yet, so we don't have to
we don't want to rush right now
to that, because we all have lives and have a lot of stuff going on.
We all work.
But we do appreciate it. Any of you guys, please share the show. Agent, have a good night too as well.
Hi, Michael.
I know where you live. Anyways, please share the show. Anybody out there that you want, have them check us out. We appreciate it. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers here on the channel. We're at 33 right now. So let's
Whoever 50th is gets a t-shirt.
Yes. Whoever the 50th is will get a t-shirt. We just now made that up and pulled that right out of our ass without a sock.
Yeah, just right there.
So,
hey, how do you encourage viewers and subscribers? You offer something.
You offer something,
50th,
yes.
50th viewer gets a shirt.
And the 51st subscriber gets a used sock. Anyways.
And a shout out.
So, anyways, folks.
Socks.
Pay attention to the Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok this week, and you'll find out who we're going to be covering next. It's going to be Criminology Chris's pick. So stay tuned for that, and we will let you know. Other than that, you guys have a rest of a good weekend and a good week next week. Take care. I'm your host, Tim. We have Criminology Chris, and I love my brain, Classroom Jackie.
Same crime place, same crime time.
Good night, everybody.